What is good, Neo family? It's your boy Ray-Jay back with another video, and in this video, I'm going to be talking about the one and only Neo and why I'm extremely bullish for the near-term and long-term futures. I'm going to talk about the overall stock market in the S&P 500 and other things that have been affecting it, like pieces of news that just came out. I'm going to talk about other pieces of news that are affecting Neo as well before I ended this video with the latest tweets that just came out from Neo that make me super excited. Now, before I do talk about all this news and what on earth is going on with Neo and the market, I do have to mention a couple of things. First off, I'm not a financial legal or taxation expert, so don't take this as financial legal or taxation advice. Everything in this video is solely for entertainment purposes only. And also, if you guys can, please smash that like button if you want to see more videos like this, and not only benefits me, but benefits the entire Neo community as a whole. And the last thing is, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link in the description. If you guys do sign up for Moomoo, you're going to be qualified for a iPhone 13 Pro giveaway. So you may win an iPhone 13 Pro. And also, guys, if you sign up, you're going to get up to 5 free stocks, each worth up to $3,500. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. Neo is looking pretty great right now, guys. We had a huge day up over 5.83%. Before I talk specifically about Neo, we need to talk about the overall market because that's very important. Now, looking at the S&P 500, it's up over 0.26% for the day. That's really good too. And if you look at the 3-month charts alongside the Nasdaq, they're all recovering right now in the green. So check this out right over here. The all-time high for the S&P was $473, and we look like we're about to break that very soon. And I do think we're going to see all-time highs once again, which is a very good sign. So what does this mean, and are we on the clear right now? Now, obviously, the market began to capitulate, and we are still in this capitulation phase, and it does look like we're going to break all-time highs, but I do have to note a couple of things about this market. So for the month of December, guys, I definitely think that the S&P is going to see a lot of green, but there can be nuances here and there because of news that just came out. And this all relates to Neo, believe it or not. So first off, let me just talk about the news. Basically, the US House has passed an agreement on the deal to allow Democrats to address the debt ceiling. So right now, there is uncertainty about whether they're going to raise it or not. And it does appear that they are going to do that. Now, I'm not going to give my opinion on that. Obviously, that could be kind of good for the market for the short term, but for the long term, not necessarily. That's actually going to be really bad. It's kind of like pushing your credit card bills much later. That's not necessarily a great thing for the long term future. Now, for the short term, though, this could be a good sign, and this could cause a lot of green if they do, raise the debt ceiling, which they most likely are going to do that. But there's not confirmation just yet, and we need to look out for what's going to come out because the Fed has some meetings on December 14th through the 15th, and that to me could be very important that we must be on the lookout for this. Now, obviously, it was also noted that the latest inflationary data came out, and it was noted right over here, according to CNBC, that 6% inflation is devastating to everyday Americans. Rising prices need to be curbed, according to many experts. So what does this mean, guys? And this is something you have to look out for the long-term future. We could see a rise in interest rates. Why? It's because inflation is on the verge of going up alongside other things, because bonds are looking more and more enticing for institutional investors and the Fed, and they do need to start dealing with this as soon as they possibly can. So we could see a rise in interest rates for the long-term future, and that could affect the overall market. But I do want to note that right now, for the short term, for the last few weeks or so, and maybe for the next few weeks leading up to the end of the year, things are still looking really good, because these pieces of news are not causing Neo or the S&P or the Nasdaq to crash. They're all doing really well. And then you have to look at this right over here. The last thing I'm going to talk about before I go on with Neo is the fear and greed index for the market is looking much better. Before, it was extremely fearful, then it went to fear. That was just yesterday, and now we're getting closer and closer to the 50, to the very greedy side. That means people are becoming more comfortable. They're panicking a lot less, and the market is just looking a lot better. So as for Neo, look at what happened today. As the market was in the green, Neo tends to show that it has more than a positive beta stock and more than a positive 1 beta stock. And that's a really good sign for this company. Look at Neo. We dropped to about 33.05 and we ran all the way up to $35.30 a share, closing at 35.05. Once again, crushing it despite people saying that this thing is a dead cat. And look at how well it's doing. Look at the Bollinger Bands touching the upper band for the large majority of the day. And it's just looking like it's just on the verge of recovery. It looks really good. Now, let me bring up the 6-month chart and then talk about what's going on with Neo before I go on with the news. So let's look at the MACD, some CCI, and the RSI real quick. I'm going to make this nice and simple for you guys. I know those terms may be kind of scary, but don't worry about that, okay? Look at the MACD. This basically shows the momentum and how this stock is basically moving, so to speak. And you can see it's on the verge of crossing with the 9-day moving average, which means that we could start to see more and more green from here, indicating a very bullish future. Also, the CCI is showing that NIO is on the verge of recovery too. Right now, you guys can see it's still undervalued and it still looks like we're going to see some good moves. RSI is showing more strength than before. It dropped just a couple of days ago down to 30, then it rose up to about 32, 33, and now it's at about 42.72. This means what all this data means, guys, and I'm gonna make it simple. NIO is showing strength. It's the indicators are showing we could see some more runs, and it's looking really good. Now, the last thing I want to look at real quick, let me bring up the 1 year chart just real quick, and then bring up some moving averages. And you guys can see right now, NIO fell below them, and it's kind of testing them as not only a resistance, so to speak, but we should be breaking them once again. Once again, another indicator that NIO is undervalued, and we should see it right back up to the 40s very soon if this continues. So I'm going to answer the question, is NIO going to explode in December? What's going to happen in December? Then my answer to that is the December looks very bullish right now, at least as of right now. But I do have to note that this is a December it should be bullish, but there are some nuances that you have to account for. So what I'm trying to say is we should see green for December, a very strong Santa rally. But some kind of nuance, such as the Fed announcing something, could cause a bit of a reversal, but it's not guaranteed. But as of right now, it looks a lot more bullish, and it's more probable that we're going to see a very strong year. So NIO does have a lot of momentum coming. Now, before I talk about the price predictions and what I think is going to play out, let's go on with some news about NIO. So check this out right over here. It was reported that NIO just rallied because of the fact that they announced that on December 18th they have their NIO Day, and that makes me super excited, guys. The theme is going to be Hello World, and I think NIO has some big announcements coming up involving their European expansion. I think it's going to be very cool. I'm super hyped and excited. I can't wait to see what they announce with their ET7 and what else they're going to talk about, what other European countries they're going to be expanding to, and maybe they may even announce some USA expansion in the next upcoming years. I mean, we have some huge things coming, guys. NIO's looking really good. Also, it was stated according to Seeking Alpha that NIO and Li Auto are preferred over XPeng at Tiger Securities. Now, I'm not trying to go into full detail about it, but I just want to let you guys know that articles are saying this, and people are giving NIO more buy ratings. They're saying that it's a very good buy right now. None of their analysts said to sell it. They're all saying to buy or hold it. That's a very good indicator. Once again, I'm not saying any of them are better over the other. I think they're all great companies, but NIO in particular, really great. Now, the last things I'm going to talk about is what the Motley Fool just said. It says why NIO stock moved 5% today. And they're basically talking about the fact that the Chinese EV maker is teasing that it will soon expand on its global aspirations. Very good sign. NIO is expanding with NIO Day coming. People are excited, and we're getting closer and closer as time progresses. Now, they're also talking about the fact that NIO has the Shell partnership, which makes me very excited. People are learning about that too. That's another big update because NIO is now planning on constructing and operating batteries, charging and swapping stations in both China and Europe, and partnering with Shell is just taking them to the next step forward. They have an ambition of 100 battery swap stations by 2025 across China, maybe even more than that, and we're going to see some very good services coming because of that. That's a very good sign for the company, and NIO is doing extremely well right now. Now, I want to end the video with this right over here. NIO is going to join basically the Forbes CIO Next virtual event today at 1 p.m. At least Eastern time, and we guys can see that they have some big things coming up. So I definitely think that they're going to have some big announcements, big pieces of innovation, and their managing director Ganesh Iyer is going to be there. So that's going to be another big update for NIO. We may see some big things announced, and I'm just excited to report that by tomorrow or the later days. So some huge things are coming. So what I have to say for NIO, guys, is even though there are nuances in the market, and the market is not in a perfect state right now because of inflation, the Fed tapering, but at the same time, it looks really green, very bullish. And besides those pieces of news, I'd say it's very bullish. And the NIO and the overall market should see a good recovery. We should see all-time highs for the S&P, and I think NIO could easily start stepping its way up to the 40 very soon, leading up to NIO Day, which is where we should easily see it go even higher than that. If NIO has some big announcements, there could be a lot of hype associated with it. We could see NIO perhaps or possibly break the mid to high 40s and maybe even approach 50 by the end of the year. So I think things are looking really good for this company. I'm super, super excited and bullish. Just give it the time it needs, and we have some big announcements. So with that said and done, guys, thank you for listening. I wish you all the best. I hope you all have a great rest of the day. And Nio is going to the moon, and peace out.